Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are driving into how you can create viral animated videos with just a few clicks using AI. The best part, you don't need any experience, you don't need any expensive software, just a really simple but powerful workflow. So let's kick things off with a pretty bold claim from our source material. The potential here isn't just about making a cool video for fun. We're talking about the chance for massive online reach and, yeah, for some people, even a pretty significant income. The whole idea is that you can tap into a huge audience that is just hungry for this kind of content. For decades, creating animation was a serious undertaking. It was slow, it was incredibly expensive, and it required a whole team of highly skilled artists. But what we're seeing right now is a complete game changer. AI has absolutely torn down all those barriers, making animation pretty much instant, totally accessible, and open to anyone with a good idea. All right, so here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with the viral formula itself, then we'll get into crafting the story, generating consistent characters, animating them with a single click, and finally putting the whole thing together. Let's get into it. First up, the viral formula. Before we get into the how, let's talk about the what. See, the key to going viral isn't just about having cool technology. It's about finding a passionate audience that maybe isn't being served. And our source material points to a really powerful example of this in action. The source highlights a genre like Islamic cartoons, which just explodes with millions of views during culturally significant times like Ramadan. The big lesson here is that the technology has finally caught up to our ambition. This whole method empowers you, the individual creator. You don't need a studio or a huge budget anymore to make professional-looking content that really connects with people on a massive scale. Okay, let's move on to part one, crafting the story. Every great animation starts with a great story, right? So our first practical step is to build the script. And we're going to let AI do all the heavy lifting for us using a tool you've probably heard of, ChatGPT. Now, the secret sauce to this entire process is something called a master prompt. This isn't just asking the AI a simple question. Oh no, it's more like a super detailed creative brief that tells ChatGPT to generate, well, everything. The story ideas, the character descriptions, the dialogue scene by scene, and even the exact text prompts we're going to use to create our images later. And the workflow is it's incredibly simple. You paste in that master prompt, and ChatGPT spits out about 10 different story ideas for you to choose from. You just pick your favorite, type yes, and bam, it automatically generates every single scene, all the dialogue, and all the image prompts you'll need for the rest of the project. So that brings us to part two, generating the characters. Now for the really fun part, creating our visuals. We've got our script and our image prompts from ChatGPT, so we're heading over to an AI image generator called Visk AI. This is where we get to design the actual look and feel of our cartoon. And this brings us to what is probably the single biggest challenge in AI-generated art, character consistency. I mean, how do you make sure your main character actually looks like the same person from one frame to the next? It's a super common frustration, but our source reveals a brilliantly simple solution. And here is the trick. It's so clever. You generate your first scene, right? And you download the image you like the best. Then, for every single scene after that, you upload that first image as a reference. The AI will literally look at that reference picture while it's creating the new image, making sure your character's face, their clothes, and their style all stay consistent. It's a total game changer. Part three. Animating the images. Okay, so we've got our story, we've got our consistent characters. Now for the real magic, bringing those still images to life with voice and motion. Our source points to two absolutely incredible AI tools that specialize in this. You basically give them a static image and a line of text, and they merge them into a short, animated clip, complete with a synthesized voice, and it all happens with a single click. The process is just so streamlined. Using a tool called Queen AI, you just upload your character's image, you copy and paste the dialogue straight from your script, and you hit generate. In a matter of seconds, you have a video clip with lip syncing and a voiceover. It's amazing. So here's a little sample of some dialogue pulled from the source. The AI doesn't just read the text, it actually performs it, It creates a genuine back and forth between characters. You can build out an entire conversation this way, scene by scene, without ever having to record your own voice. And here's a fantastic pro tip. A lot of these AI tools have free versions with usage limits. So if you happen to run out of free credits on Queen AI, you don't have to stop. You can just hop over to a similar site like Grok AI and keep your project going seamlessly. Part 4, the final assembly. We're on the home stretch. We've now generated all of our individual animated clips. The final step is just putting them all together to create our finished cartoon. And look, you do not need to be a professional video editor for this. A simple and often free mobile app like InShot is all you need. You just import your clips, arrange them in the right order, and export the final video. It really is that simple. And that brings us to our conclusion, the future. So let's just pull back for a second and look at the big picture here. What this entire workflow represents is a complete end-to-end animation studio that is now accessible to absolutely anyone. When you boil it all down, this whole powerful workflow is just these 4 manageable steps. You script with ChatGPT, you create consistent visuals with Visk AI, you animate with a one-click tool like Queen AI, and you assemble it all in a mobile editor. The power of an entire animation studio is literally in your hands. You know, a process like this democratizes creation on a scale we've just never seen before. And it leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. As these tools get even better and even easier to use, are we about to see an explosion of independent animation and storytelling, all powered by AI? The future of animation might start to look very different very, very soon.